Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech with Soft. So the today's topic we are going to cover an exception handling, okay, in Java. So we have to understand what is exception and how to be handled. So here this word exception handling is a combination of two words. One is exception, second one is handling. Okay. So what are the exceptions that we have to understand, and then how to be handle that we have to understand. Okay. So in Java mechanism, it's a normal definition. It's Java mechanism to manage the runtime errors, okay, and maintain the normal flow of application. That time we do use exception. Exception is an event that disrupts the regular execution of the program. Okay, disrupt the regular execution of the program. What does it mean of regular executions of the program? Let's understand with the help of examples. Okay. Now let me create a new package. I am directly coming to the IntelliJ. So I am just creating a new package and just writing here like kind of exception only. Exception handling, something like that. Okay. It could be any name, but yeah, I am giving exception handling. So I am creating a one class. Okay. Say like test inside that. And inside that I am keeping a main method. Okay. Suppose here I am writing a one statement int a equal to 10, or like say we have seen a string, right? A string str equal to say like null, right? A string str equal to null. Now I am writing a some sysout statement, system.out.println, system.out.println, and I am putting here like suppose str. So I am putting suppose is like 10 times. Okay. So what will happen? Here str equal to null, and suppose here I am keeping this sysout, not sysout, yeah, system dot out dot println, and I am putting here suppose str dot length. So what happened actually? Str having a null means nothing, right? So here what we are doing, we are simply displaying the str only. So let's run it first. Okay, so I have to run this man only, right? So just run this class. Let's comment this code. In IntelliJ it does happen if your any file having error, right, your code will not be run. So it is checking all that kind of previous files as well. So now everything is fine. You can see here what I'm saying. I'm getting a null pointer exception. First I'm getting two null. After that I'm getting null pointer exception. Why I'm getting null pointer exception? First what it is doing, first it is storing str equal to null. Then I'm displaying here str. So it will display null, because string having a null value only, right? Then I'm calculating the length here, str.length. What is the length of that? So length is nothing, because it's null means nothing, right? So this line will give exception. So whenever it will give exception, that time complete the execution flow will be disturbed. That means after that the remaining three line we have, right? Line number 9, line number 10, line number 11, they will not execute. They will not execute because it is disturbing the flow, right? Here it is saying it will having a null value, and then after that nothing will execute. So that's why it will give null pointer exception. Clear it? So whenever we have a some it may come with the user as well, right? It will come at runtime also. So it could be come at any way, but the main understanding we have, so in this program we have only exception. We did not handle it. So exception is giving in which line? That is giving by the line number 8. So the definition which you can see, right, it is disturb the normal flow. Disturb the normal flow means and maintain the normal, that is handling only, right? Exception is an event that disturb the regular execution of the program. So disturb means it is abnormally terminate the code. That means normally the program will finish at line number 13, right? because line number 13 is a closing of the main method. So at that point only it will going to finish the execution completely. But at line number 8 itself, right, it is giving me an error, I mean exception, because I am calculating the length of it. So if a string does not have anything, right, how it can calculate the length of that? Not possible, right? So this line number 8 is itself is giving me a null pointer exception, and after that it is going to display the other thing. So these 3 lines will not be executed. Line number 9, 10 and 11 will not be executed. So that's why we have an exception here. How to handle the exception, right? For that we have a different type of blocks that we have to understand. First block is called like try block, and with the try corresponding we do write catch block. We do write catch block with opening and closing, right? We have a like throw keyword, and we have a like throw. Okay, one is we have a throw, and one we have a like throws, and next we have a like finally. So these are the different blocks we have, like try, catch and finally they are the block. Throw and throws, they are the keywords, right? So they all are used to handle the exception. Okay, so in the try what should be right, in catch what should be right, let's understand that. So try and catch are the first statement block that will use to handle the exception, right? So here I am explaining handling the exception, right? Handling the exception. How to handle the exception? We can handle the exception by using the try catch block, right? Or we can do finally also, right? And then we do use throw. Throw is used for let me keep it. It is used for raise the exception. Okay, and throws is used to handle the exception. So we have 2 things to handle the exception. One is with the try catch block, and second one is a throws block. Throw does not use to handle the exception. Throw is completely different. Okay, that we have to understand what is the difference of what is the use of throw keyword. That is used to raise the exception. That also we will look. Okay, so in this program we are getting that exception at line number 8 only. Then we have to handle it. So first we will understand how to handle the exception with the try catch block only. Okay, so in the str.length what happened, right? So I will use one try block. So what should be right under the try, that we have to understand. So try is a one block, right? Try is a one block. So here we will write the code in the try. Inside try we do write the code. Which does give the exception. So which line of code is giving the exception? So only the one line which is having a like str.length. This line is giving me exception. So that we have to understand that as in a program, which line are responsible for giving the exception. If you are able to understand that, that's fine. Otherwise again it will be a problem. Okay, so here line number 9 is giving me exception, so I will keep it like try block. So in the try block what I will do, I will keep that statement. Which statement? This one only. This line is giving me exception, right? After that, corresponding that I will use catch also. So try will not come alone. Try will come with the catch only. In the catch we will write the one name actually of the class. So every exception is a class actually here. So here it is giving me a one exception called NullPointer exception, right? So inside that I can keep NullPointer exception. Simple. Whenever you want to handle the exception, right, we have to keep the combination of try and catch block. In the try we do keep the statement which does raise the exception. In the catch we do use a simple the class name which exception can throw by the try only. And here we can write some message. So I will use your system dot out dot println, and here we can write some message like string contain null value, something like that. String contain null value. Okay, so that is a kind of bit of the small code. How does it execute? Please understand. First what happened, right? It will start the execution from the line number 4, 5 itself, right? So first it will run the main method, So first it is saying, okay, string str equal to null, fine, it is having a null, it is displaying the null only. Then what happened, right? After that it is saying str.length. Str.length is the one statement which is throwing the exception. After seeing the str.length, right, it will directly move to the catch block. It will directly move to the catch block. In the catch block, it will say string contain the null value. What does it say? String contain the null value, and then it will execute this remaining line of statement as well. Line number 14, line number 15, and line number 16. The previous scenario, what happened, right? It was terminating the code here only. It was terminating the code at line number 9 only, and it was giving me null pointer exception. So in this scenario, I will not get the null pointer exception because I handle it. If I will handle it right that time, that the normal flow will not be disturbed. Normal flow will not be disturbed. It will execute all line of statement. Okay, but here, yeah, it will give us some message to the customer. You did this mistake, because of that you are not getting the proper result like that. So here we can get it is a string contain the null value, right? So if I will run this code, see here, you can see here I am getting null, right? After that, try block is executed. Actually in the try block I am getting the exception. So if it is giving the exception, it is directly coming to the catch block. In the catch block we are saying the message string contain null value. So it is saying string contain null value, and then it is executing the remaining 3 lines as well. So when do we handle the exception, right? Using the try catch block, then what happen, right? All the statement will execute and program will terminate. Terminate means I am talking the program will be end at the line where the main is closing. So main is closing at line number 18. So wherever the main closing, at that point only that program will terminate properly, right? So this is the main thing here that we have in exception handling. So exception is nothing like a runtime errors. Okay, what are this? What are the different type of it? Let's understand. Okay. So exception, the parent class we have a like object. Object is a that we have seen, right? I mean in the previous scenarios we have first object class. Object is a parent of all classes, and then we have one child class like throwable. Throwable is having a parent class of the exception class. So throwable is having a 2 child classes, exception class and error class. These are the predefined classes. These are the predefined classes which does use to handle the exception. So from exception and error we have a 2. Error does come if we have some kind of hardware issues, look like that, like I don't have a proper RAM on it, right? I don't have proper disk, some server issues or anything like that, right? That all come with the error. So stack overflow, virtual machine error, out of memory error. So they are comes under the when we have a kind of hardware issues. And if not having hardware, then we do come with the exception only. So exception we have like 2 type, checked exception and check exception and uncheck exception. So these are the difference, both of them. What are the different check exception and uncheck exception? So check exception we must have to handle it. If we not handle, then code will not compile. Check exception is compulsory we to handle it. Unchecked exception is optional to handle. What is the meaning of handling and unhandling? We will understand with the example. Okay. So we have a check exception and unchecked exception. Checked exception are the exception which we have to handle it. Unchecked exception are the exception which is optional to handle. Like for example, let's understand handling and non-handling. What is the meaning of it? In this example, I was getting the error like str.length, right? If I will not write try catch block in that scenario, if I will not write the try catch block, what will happen? Nothing. It will compile successfully, right? So that means handling means what? Let me write down it. Handle the exception. Handle the exception means writing the try catch block. Writing try catch block, or we have one more thing, right? Or using throws keyword. Or using throws keyword. So we have a 2 things to handle the exception, right? So here at this scenario, right, I am writing str.length. So at this moment str.length, right, what happened? It is not handling actually. I am not handling it. I am not writing try catch block, but still the code is going to compile. still the code is going to compile. There is no problem on it. Compile means there is no error on it, right? So here, let me take about check exception here. So here it is uncheck exception actually. Uncheck exception. Uncheck exception means optional to handle. Optional to handle, that is unchecked exception. And what is the check exception? Is mandatory to handle. Mandatory to handle. We don't have any option on it. We have to handle it. We have to handle it, right? Like for example here, so this str.length, mandatory to handle the exception I can do by two way, I think try catch or using the throws keyword. So this time what happened, right? I'm not writing any try catch block. I'm not writing any try catch block, but code still is fine, no problem on it, no error on it, right? So with this what happened, right? There is no issue and it will work fine. That comes under the unchecked exception category. So here I am getting one str.length which is a null pointer exception, right? So null pointer exception come under the unchecked category. Now let's say I'm writing a one more statement like thread.sleep, suppose. This statement will give me one error. See here, it is giving me error. Why? Because this line of statement will give me a checked exception. What is the exception? That we'll understand. It will give me interrupted exception which comes under the thread only. So thread will be the next topic that I will let you know what is the thread and all. So this time it will give me a one interrupted exception, and interrupted exception will say that it will not be going to, it is not going to compile it because it is giving me a checked exception. So if I will give here like try catch block, see error will remove. Try, if I will write a try block, and if I will write catch block corresponding that time, right here I can give interrupted exception E, then there will not be any problem, no error. That means this line of statement, so we will write the code, right? Some of the time that code will give checked exception, some of the time that code will give unchecked exception. So if it is unchecked exception, right, that time try catch is optional. Try catch is optional, we can keep it or we can ignore it, right? But code will not be give any compile time error. But in the checked exception, if I will write this without try catch, that time definitely I will get compile time error and code will not be compiled. So that thing we have to take care when we have to handle it and when we do not have to handle it, right? So these both statements are important a lot, right? So checked exception are the exception which we must have to handle it. Unchecked exception are the exception which is optional to handle it. Clear it? So that only it is there. So we have a like checked and unchecked. So we have a different category, like null pointer exception comes under the unchecked category. Arithmetic exception, index out of bound exception, or index out of bound, string index out of bound, right? Checked exception are the exception like IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception, right? So these all we will look step by step. Like with that, I have used one more exception, right, which is not mentioned, called interrupted exception. That is also part of checked exception. So you should know which are the checked exception, which are the unchecked exception. You can at least remember 5 checked exception class name and 5 unchecked exception class name, right? Let's note down the name. What are the checked and unchecked? So first we have seen like, let me keep it here, okay, so I can directly use them. So first let's talk about unchecked exception, okay. So uncheck exception. So we have like many. One of them is like arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception. Second we have like null pointer exception. We have seen it. Null pointer exception. Third we have like index out of bound exception. Index out of bound exception. Okay, these are the classes, predefined classes. Okay, that's it. These are the predefined classes. We did not given anything on index out of bound exception, right? And next we have a like index out of bound like class cast exception. Okay, it is also comes under the checked unchecked only. Class cast exception. Number format exception. Fifth one is number format exception, number format exception. So they all are comes under the unchecked exception category. So if this type of exception we have in this code, right? If this type of exception we have in our code, that means it's optional to write a try catch block. It's optional to write a try catch block. But if we have this type of code which does throw the checked exception, right? Let's say I'm writing a checked exception as well. What are the checked exception? First one is called we have seen, right, interrupted exception. Interrupted exception first. Okay, and then we have like second, class not found exception. Class not found exception. Okay, and third we have like interrupted class not found exception and SQL exception. Okay, when do we perform the Java database connectivity, then we do look SQL exception. And fourth we have like what it could be, interrupted class not found SQL exception, IO exception. Okay, IO exception. So these all comes under the checked exception category. At least this much you must know, which comes under the checked exception category, which comes under the unchecked exception category. And let me tell you one thing, unchecked exception is a child of one class called runtime exception. Runtime exception. So there is a one class called runtime exception, that is also predefined class. These all the classes, arithmetic exception, NullPointer exception, index out of bound, class cast exception, number format exception, right? They all are the child of the runtime exception. They all are the child of runtime exception. It is also one class. So in unchecked exception, the parent class is runtime exception. All the classes that we are writing here, right, they all are the child of this runtime exception only, right? So this is the kind of unchecked exception. Checked exception are interrupted exception, class not found exception, SQL exception, and IO exception. They all are the comes under the checked exception category, right? So these are the main thing that we have to handle the exception, right? Or how to what are the different classes we have. So we have to mainly focus on unchecked exception and checked exception, right? Now let's understand once again. So here in this code I am having a like checked exception category. So checked exception we have to keep try catch block, which is mandatory, right? And inside the system we can write any message, right, whichever we want, system.out.println, like anything which we can display, right? And we have some method as well of the exception class, which is also need to manage actually, which also we need to manage. What are the method we have? So first, like for example, here I am using interrupted exception, right? And here I can directly use e.getMessage, e.getMessage. So here what happened, right? This getMessage method will give me kind of information. So let's open it. What does it say? So here return the details message string of this throwable, right? Return the detail message strings of the throwable instance, which may be null or something else. What does it means actually? It is a look like more technical, right? So let me tell you here. Let's go with the previous example. Okay, instead of using this okay, let me go to the previous example. Like previous example means I'm talking about this one only. Okay, let's stop this right now, thread one, and here see here. So this is giving me a null pointer exception, but here I am getting the error actually. Why I am getting the error? That we have to understand. Because in the catch block we have to write the same exception name, which is throwing by the try only. So it is throwing null pointer exception, right? And here I am keeping interrupted exception. So that is not correct actually. They are different classes. So that's why I have to keep here null pointer exception, right? So in place of, if I will write e.getMessage, right? So getMessage is a one method of this exception class. GetMessage is a one method of this exception class. What does it do? It does give me actual technical things. Okay, so let me write here two things. First I'm writing here, right, string contain null value, string contain like a null value. Okay, and after that what I'm keeping, what I'm saying, writing here e.getMessage. What does it mean, e.getMessage? It will give me information, right? It will give me information. So let me run this once. What information it will give? So you can see here string contains the null value. So it is giving string contains the null value. After that I'm getting the e.get message, right? So get message saying that string dot length because it is giving the exception. So here we are getting the message which is coming from the JVM. So some of the message we do get from the JVM itself, right? So that JVM message, whichever it will giving, which is saying that string dot length having a problem, because of that it is giving the exceptions because str is null. So that is a kind of, that is a my message, that is a developer message actually, it will equal, right? And after equal, whatever message we are getting, that is a JVM message. So whenever we do get JVM message, right, we do get e.get, get message is a method of that one, right? And one method we have like, which is a print stack trace as well, so that we can call directly without sysout. So whenever you're thinking you don't have to write sysout, right, we can directly use e.print stack trace. That is also one method we have. Okay, so what does it do? It does directly throw the exception. So if I will run it, so see, it will directly give cannot invoke. So here it is not giving my own message, right? It is directly giving the message which is given by the JVM itself. So if you want to combine your message with JVM message, then we have to use which method, right? Get message. So get message, it is a method of all exception classes. This method present under all exception classes. So what does it do? It can be used in the sysout, right? Sysout, right? And second we have like print stack trace. Print stack trace. Right? With this method, developer message cannot be combined, but with this method, developer message can be combined, right? So these are the main thing. These are the two methods which do be used very frequently of the exception class, and that all use under the catch only, right? So these are the basics things about exception, what are the exception, how to handle the exception, right? How to write try catch block, what the try, what the catch. So catch will be start after the try only, right? And try and catch both come together in a single unit, right? Catch cannot come alone. Catch cannot come alone. That could be one many interview questions, right? Can we write try without the catch? Can we write catch without the try? So try can come with catch, and we have one more option also. With that also try will come. But right now you have to understand that try will come with the catch only, and catch will come with the try. Catch cannot come alone. Catch does use where we do write the exception class name. Okay. That's it on this. In the next session, we will look kind of different exception. When do we get this all exception that we have written here, right? Like when do we get arithmetic exception, null pointer exception? We have seen index out of bound, class not for class cast number format. So BDC all the scenario of this all exception, same like this all also, which is a checked, comes under the checked exception category. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.